Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3, and in this particular video, I want to talk to you about the largest challenge of the coronavirus, and it has nothing to do with the economic and the healthcare implications of the coronavirus. So if you don't know me, I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward and help you out. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Dr. Fay Moore and his lovely wife, my sister, Fay Moore in Kenora, Ontario. I grew up in Dryden, Ontario, northwestern Ontario. And I have since moved down to Florida, and I'm at a large state institution as a professor down here, but my heart still really is in northwestern Ontario. And I really want to say thank you to all the healthcare workers. So if you don't know, Dr. Fay Moore is an ER doctor in Kenora, Ontario, and they're doing some wonderful things there in terms of coordinating and making sure everybody is safe, and as well as making sure that everybody stays positive with this coronavirus pandemic. And I also really want to say thank you to all the families of healthcare workers that they're dealing with all the difficult emotional impact of having their spouse, their partner go off and to do something that is very challenging, that is very difficult, that nobody wants to do, but they are taking the steps and they're taking the lead to actually get out there and do these very difficult tasks that many of us are afraid to do. So thank you so much for that. So in this video, I really want to talk to you about the biggest challenge I see going forward with the coronavirus, and it is probably not to do with the healthcare implications of the coronavirus. So first of all, I'm not downplaying in any sort of way. It is a very difficult thing. I live very close to one of the hardest hit areas in North America right now, Albany, Georgia. If you didn't know this, is a very tiny town, 90,000 people, not unlike some other locations where I grew up, where they're getting hit really hard with the coronavirus. There was a funeral that somebody attended that they had the coronavirus, and it spread across the city, across the town, and many people are getting sick from this. So it is, my heart goes out to them. My heart goes out to all the people that are suffering from the coronavirus. And my thoughts and prayers definitely go out to their families. I want to emphasize in this video that as we continue on with this, many of the healthcare systems, many of the healthcare technologies around the world are going to start kicking in, and they're going to start doing the wonderful things that they're supposed to do. It's a challenging task, but if you look at the healthcare systems in general across, both Canada, both the United States, and Europe, they are very robust, and they're filled with many people that care and that are trying, and they're rising up to the challenge. And I think at least in the short term and in the long term as well, that many people are going to rise to the challenge, and they're going to tackle the coronavirus and help solve this massive problem that we have. Now, I am also very optimistic in terms of the economy. The short run is going to be tough. For those of you who are looking for jobs that are, dealing with the economic implications of this, I'm not downplaying in any sort of way. It is very challenging. Today, there was another announcement in the United States that 6.6 million people are filing for unemployment. And that is a large number. It is pretty frightening in many different ways. But we have a robust financial sector and a robust set of government institutions that do kick in and are actually doing the jobs that they're supposed to be doing in a time of crisis. Often we sort of criticize the individuals and the different systems that are at play and the different leaders that are part of the larger economic system, but they're actually doing a fairly good job in terms of at least responding in the short term to the coronavirus pandemic across the world, right? To give us financial resources and to allow us to stay at home, many of us to stay at home, that is amazing, right? This couldn't be done in any other time than we are right now. We have a lot as a global society. We have a lot more resources than we had previously that allow us to stay at home. We have things like information technology, right? So I can actually talk to you. We have a robust banking system that we didn't have even 100 years ago, where we can do things like bank on a regular basis without it collapsing during a pandemic, right? And there's a lot of wonderful things that governments and institutions are doing right now to ensure that the economy is going to bounce back. In the short term, it's going to be very, very tough. But in the long run, we have a lot going for us, both in the United States and in Canada and in the global economy. There is a lot going for us, and I would bet I would put a lot of money on ensuring or suggesting that the global economy is going to bounce back. And it's going to be much more robust than ever. And I'd almost guarantee it. I'd 100% guarantee it. But weird things happen, right? So, but, in general, what we're expecting here, what I'm expecting is that the economy to bounce back and be very, very robust, very much so in the medium to long term. The thing that I'm most scared about with the coronavirus has very little to do with the economy, although it has implications for the economy, is really a lack of animal spirits, a lack of will to do things in the long run. So whenever we experience these very traumatic events in our life, and we all experience them, even if you didn't have a pandemic in your life, you've had other things that have happened in your life that really do affect you, and every single person has these things. And what we know, or what we can sort of assume going forward, is that those negative things do affect you, and you carry them going forward, and they sort of frame how you view your future prospects. Now, the people that do well during really, not so good things that happen to them, right? So there's many different bad things that can happen to you throughout your lifetime, but the things that the sort of biggest predictors or the indicators that you're going to do well whenever you go through these difficult times is that you have a purpose in life. You actually are doing something that you're very motivated to do, and you want to do those things. So for me, in order to prevent the larger catastrophe in the future, in 5, 10, 15 years out, where we feel as a society that we're scared, that we can't do anything that's entrepreneurial, that we're afraid to do innovative things in any sort of way, I really, really would hope that we start to work on as people towards navigating, towards getting a purpose in our life, ensuring that we just stay motivated every single day. We get up, we try to be, we don't have to be cheery every single day, but we know why we're doing the things that we're doing. And then the other thing that we should really work on is try to act intentionally, right? So people that do wonderful things in their life and change the world is that they not only have a purpose, but they are acting. They're doing that particular thing. And people have survived many, many tough things throughout our history, right? We've survived wars. We've survived, all sorts of atrocities. And the people that thrive, even when there's catastrophe and, pandemics and craziness that's going on around us, the people that actually survive are the ones that they have a purpose, and they stay intentional, and they keep moving, and they keep acting towards a particular thing, right? We have to do that in order to survive as a human species. This is the human condition, for us to maintain our steps going forward and keep marching forward, to have the belief that we actually have something, that we got it, and we can actually achieve something. So what's really important for you going forward as as a city, as individuals, as nation states, that we have to keep going and use the information that we're collecting from these very negative experiences that we have as just simply ways to sort of build upon and learn in the future. We can look at this and we can say, well, gee, that particular thing didn't work that well. We can change that going forward so we don't have to address that particular thing in the future, right? So if there's a component of the healthcare system that is not working that well right now, we use that information as a stress test on the overall health of our healthcare system, and we build on that and we keep going forward with that. And as individual people that are out there, looking for jobs, we look at this and we can say, well, how can we pivot? What can we actually do at this moment to keep going forward with this, right? So the world has changed, and it looks like it's gone really crazy, but what can you do? What kind of information? I want you to stop right now and actually think about this. What can you possibly do to keep going forward and to ensure that you have maybe it's income coming in, or maybe it is you change your career and you do something that's wonderful that you wouldn't have thought of doing in the past. So at this moment, this is sort of framing what you can do going forward, right? And so you're given the opportunity. It's not necessarily, for many of us, we might think of it as a crisis or something that's really difficult. But for many of us, this is an opportunity for us to stop and think and say, do I really want to do this thing going forward? And so I want you to think about that. Actually do this as an exercise. I want you to stop right now. At the end of this video, stop this video and actually write down, what do you actually want to do? And start working on going in that direction. There's research out there that shows that many of the, some of the firms that are built and developed, so some of the businesses that are built and developed during downtimes in the economy are actually very, very robust. Because people, they take the time, they pivot, and they sort of rethink what they're doing at that moment. And I encourage you to do that going forward. There's lots of opportunities right now. And you just have to think a little bit more creatively, and you have to think about, how can I actually accomplish that particular thing? So once you write that down and you have a goal towards doing that particular thing that you want to do, then start doing steps towards that. So maybe you want to do, I don't know, maybe you want to do an online business or something like that, right? So, well, you could start blogging or writing something or doing, all sorts of different activities. You can start doing research in a particular area to find out what you actually want to do. There's many things that you could do. Or maybe you want to change, you're looking for a summer job, for example. Well, the coronavirus and being stuck at home and staying at home doesn't prevent you from going out there and calling people and, calling different businesses and say, hey, I would really like to help you out. Is there anything that I can possibly do to help you out? Many businesses will be looking for something like that. Maybe you do it for free. For a matter of a couple of weeks, maybe it's a month, you do it for free, but what are you doing anyways? And then once the economy recovers, two things might happen, right? So the first thing is you might get a job at that particular position, right? Or that particular company. Or the other thing is you're building up your resume towards moving in the direction that you want to go, right? So maybe you want to be a graphic artist, for example. Well, you start doing graphic artist things and working your way towards that and offering your services to somebody, free or a discounted rate until you build up your portfolio. And you could do those kind of things in the meantime as you develop and grow as a human being, doing the things that you want to do at this moment. So that's what I'd encourage you to do. And that's the thing that I'm really worried about with the coronavirus pandemic, is that we lose these animal spirits, right? Our desire to do things that are wonderful and incredible that we couldn't have done before, right? And that's what innovation, that's what entrepreneurship is all about, is choosing to do, having the courage to choose to do something that nobody else has done and actually doing that particular thing. So I would encourage you to do that right now. My heart and my thoughts and prayers go out to all the healthcare workers, all the people that are dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. And economically, it's a challenge right now for most of us in terms of the economic impact of this. But really think about this time in terms of framing what you can do going forward and doing something that's wonderful that you probably wouldn't have thought you would have done without having this time off and time to spend to think and contemplate and think about all the wonderful, cool things that you could do at this moment. So, again, thank you, Dr. Sean and Fay Moore and family and all of you folks. Thank you so much. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care and stay healthy. Make sure you continue on with the social distancing. All right, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye.